This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's 6 o'clock and another Storm Team 6 alert day. We have already set record low temperatures this morning once again in central Indiana. The good news, though, a warm-up is heading our way.
The brutal cold taking a toll on Indigo's new Red Line buses. Only Call 6 Investigates is looking into what's being done to keep the buses on the road.
As the temperatures plunge, educators are forced to make a tough decision. Working for you, we're taking a behind-the-scenes look to find out what goes into the decision to delay or cancel school.
And a criminal record can often make finding a job extremely difficult. This morning, I'm looking into how the Department of Correction is helping offenders overcome those barriers. But first, here at 6 o'clock, we are following breaking news this morning from Hamilton County. A manhunt in Fishers has ended, but officials are still trying to piece together what exactly happened.
Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning from Fishers at the police headquarters, and that's where a press conference is about to get underway. But Kelsey, what do we know right now?
So yeah, the press conference is going to get underway in just a few minutes, but what we know right now is that 2 people are in police custody here in Fishers. And again, this is early on in the investigation, but let me break it down for you what we know right now. So according to officials on the scene, officers were responding to a report of a drunk driver. When officers tried to stop the car, the driver tried to flee and led police on a short chase that ended near the Saxony neighborhood. And that's when they say the suspects fled on foot. Now, we do know that they got one suspect pretty quickly, but it did take a little while longer to get the second, but now both suspects are in custody. Now, they say that one of the suspects they believe was armed, and during the search for the suspects, an officer reported hearing shots fired. Again, several agencies are investigating. We know that Fishers, Noblesville Police, and ISP were all on scene this morning investigating what exactly happened. And so we're hoping to learn more information as this press conference gets underway here in a few minutes, and we will come back here live for you on air once that press conference begins. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Kelsey, thank you very much. Another topic that is on the top of everyone's mind this morning, the weather. I almost said hot topic, but I figured that would be a little ironic.
Yeah, it is brutally cold out there today. Todd, what do folks need to know as they're waking up?
Yeah, we could use a little bit of heat in our lives right about now. It's frigid once again this morning. Temperatures in and around central Indiana are in the single digits in many locations. Temperatures actually come up a little bit in Indianapolis. We were down to 9 degrees. Now it's up to 12, so that's good news. And the reason is a little more of a southerly wind is kicking up. You're up 1 degree in Bloomington as well. The blue numbers you see, that is the wind chill factor. So it feels like 0 in Indy, feels like -2 in Bloomington. 8 is what it feels like up in the Peru area. So obviously, as you walk out the door, you need the hat, you need the gloves and the heavy jacket, also the sunglasses. You do not need the rain gear here throughout the day today, or I guess with temperatures this cold, it would be the snow gear. None of that is in the forecast. But one thing you will notice throughout the day today is a little more of a cloud cover will start to build in, and that's actually going to help us out a little bit, especially once we get to the evening hours tonight, as temperatures will not fall off as quickly. But you have to bundle up this morning. Single digits climbing to the teens pretty quickly here this morning, and then eventually we're up to 24 degrees by the noon hour, which will be warmer than it was the entire day yesterday, and then temperatures will continue to climb from there. More on that forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. We are monitoring some breaking news as well this morning in the traffic department here. This is I-465 and West Washington Street on the west side of town. Now, while the camera's frozen, you can see those police lights there on the right center of your screen. That's due to a deadly crash we're monitoring in the southbound lanes near Washington Street. Let's take a look at our map right now, and I can show you where this is at, because it is causing some slowdowns, especially in the southbound direction there where the 2 right lanes are blocked. Again, southbound I-465 at Washington Street. Right now, we know from state police that at least 1 person there is dead. No other information to share with you at this time, but we'll continue to stay on top of this and keep you updated.
Only on our TV6, the Indigo electric buses are already showing signs of trouble as temperatures are plunging.
It's a problem Call 6 Investigates first exposed back in March, and now it's actually happening.
Our co-anchor and chief investigator, Rafael Sanchez, is on the red line right now with the latest in what you need to know.
Meredith and Lauren, good morning. We're aboard bus 1979. We're southbound. We boarded this bus about 40 minutes ago at 14th and Capitol. All is going well, but our ongoing Call 6 investigation has found that once temperatures hit below 50, some of the buses began having a problem keeping their charge. The city's red line system is under pressure to keep its promised schedule of buses showing up on time. It's a challenge as Indy's weather is getting colder.
Grab that snow brush and throw it in your car. Everybody is at or just below freezing. 44 in Indy right now.
In the past 2 weeks, as the thermometer hit 50 degrees and below, buses, which left the garage fully charged, fell victim to the cold. Their SOC, which stands for State of Charge, became too low to complete their route. They were pulled out of service to be recharged. Is Indianapolis a guinea pig for BYD? You seem to be committed to this technology and giving them the best, giving the company an opportunity to make it right.
Well, at the end of the day, we have a contract, and they have promised to deliver a solution that will work for our application. If we were to make a decision to send those buses back, that means that we would have to stop redline service. And we're committed to providing the redline service, and the company is committed to holding their part of the deal in the contract.
Call 6 Investigates obtained information showing at least 9 buses unable to keep a full battery charge since November the 1st and requiring replacements to take their place on the red line. Indigo says it knew this was going to happen. That's why the bus manufacturer, BYD, is offering to install 2 charging stations to help address the problem. Indigo says BYD will spend $4 million on that project at no cost to taxpayers.
So each time the bus reaches this en route charging location at the end of the route, it'll charge for about 10 minutes. And that'll basically allow that bus to operate indefinitely out there on the road for up to 15 hours potentially, well beyond the 275 miles that we originally spec'd.
The new charging stations are expected to be installed after January, which on average is the coldest winter month in Indiana.
As the technology continues to evolve and we look at placing our next order, we'll make some really tough calls, and we'll have to look at whether we exercise existing options with BYD or whether we go out to bid and have another manufacturer provide these vehicles.
Live back here on bus 1979. Currently, there are 29 electric buses that serve the red line. 18 are on the road all the time. The other 11 are on standby and fill in as needed. Live at the city's south side. Working for you, Rafael Sanchez. Now back to you in Studio A.
And Rafael, we'll get back out to you shortly. But right now, we want to go back up to Fishers this morning.
Yeah, a press conference is being held at this very moment with the Fishers Police Chief. Let's listen in.
Canine. He came under the department in 2015, and he has a very successful career with us. It is my belief that he saved lives last night, and we're thankful for his sacrifice. There'll be no questions right now because it is an active live investigation as we're working it now. But we'll have our PIO, Sergeant Tom Wager, update you accordingly through the day. Thank you.
Harley spelled H-A-R-L-E-Y?
H-A-R-L-E-J. Any more questions like that, I'll take.
And you said, how long did you say you were working?
He's been on the department since 2015.
H-A-R-L-E-J.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good. Thank you all.
Thank you.
You just heard from Police Chief Ed Gebhardt there announcing some news about a canine named Hurley that was involved in this manhunt and police chase. We are working to gather more details. Obviously, we dipped into that press conference. Our Kelsey Anderson is there live right now and will bring us more details here shortly. But first, we want to check in with Todd Clausen with the weather due to these bitter cold temperatures.
It is a frigid morning. There's no doubt about that. Once again, as we are dealing with temperatures that have fallen into the single digits, but we're starting to turn the corner just a little bit. That is the good news. And I just mentioned that because it was colder just a couple hours ago than it is now. And here's the key to this whole forecast. The reason why we're starting to warm up when typically this time of morning we're still getting colder is these winds have turned southeasterly, and they're starting to pick up across the area. So warmer temperatures are finally starting to head our way, but as you walk outdoor this morning, I say warmer, but it's relatively speaking compared to where we were yesterday. 5 in Crawfordsville and Greencastle, 7 in Bloomington. That's up a degree from last hour. It's up a degree in Greenfield as well, from 7 to 8, and Muncie's back up to 10 degrees now. So we are starting to warm. This trend will continue throughout the remainder of the day. Eventually by this afternoon, we're up to 32 degrees. More on the rest of your forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Todd, thank you. We are just 2 weeks away from Black Friday coming up at 6/27. We're looking at the stores giving you the best bang for your buck so you don't waste your money.
But first, getting a job with a criminal background can be difficult. Ahead at 6:14, I'll show you how the Department of Correction is helping offenders gain employment before they're even released. We'll be right back. Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's initiative working to find you jobs, opportunities, and resources.
Yeah, so anyone who has ever filled out a job application knows that you are asked if you have a criminal background. Well, for some, if the answer is yes, that could mean that you won't get the job.
The Department of Correction is looking to break down that barrier for offenders, and I look into how they're now helping inmates find employment before they're even released from prison.
I've been here approximately 3.5 years so far.
Joy Miller will be released from the Indiana Women's Prison soon, and when that happens, one of the first things she'll do is look for a job.
I'm very motivated, very self-sufficient, yep, hard worker.
And she's feeling even more driven after participating in the Department of Correction's virtual job fair.
The whole idea behind the virtual job fair is to give people an opportunity that are getting close to serving their time and finishing it a chance to have a meaningful way forward with employment. So we have a group of employers that have stepped forward and they said, these people have paid their debt to society, and we want to give them an opportunity.
Offenders sat through a webinar where participating employers like WellPet and Mishawaka showcased available job opportunities and answered questions about the group's impending job search.
You have to fill in that criminal background question now, which is a bad stigma for us. I believe that a lot of us are very self-motivated now and have to rise above all that. We have a lot more opportunities than what I believe that we went into seeing this job fair. And it gave me a lot of more positive reinforcement.
The sooner these women and inmates elsewhere are employed, the less likely they are to return to prison.
In Indiana, we have about a 33% recidivism rate. Now, somebody may think, wow, 33%? I will tell you, in other parts of the country, it's 50, 60, 70, 80% recidivism.
The Department of Correction hopes the virtual job fairs not only changes the mindset of employers, but opens more doors for former offenders.
Some people have the mindset that prison is a place to warehouse people away and to lock them up. More than 90% of the people in Indiana correction facilities are going to finish serving their time, and they are going to be coming back into society. And we owe everything to them and to society, to other Hoosiers, to make them as employable as possible so that they have a successful life forward.
The Department of Correction is always looking for employers who hire former offenders to participate in these virtual job fairs. We put Department of Correction contact information on our website, hiringhoosiers.com. Now, we want to get back to that breaking news we have been following all morning long. We have just learned that following that manhunt up in Fishers, a police canine has been shot and killed.
Yeah, and we're learning that dog's name is Harley, assisting in that chase there up in Fishers that happened overnight. And police during the press conference, they didn't want to take any other questions at this time. Obviously, tough news for the department and for the entire community. But the dog was about 5 years old and they say was a hero in this manhunt. So we're going to continue to update you. Kelsey Anderson is there. She just tweeted out a picture of that police canine, and we just want to send our condolences to that department.
Yeah. We are following more breaking news this morning out of Martinsville. Right now, Martinsville fire officials are investigating a mobile home fire that has left 3 people dead. This fire broke out around 1:30 this morning on South Outer Drive. We are working to learn more information, and we will bring you the latest just as soon as we get it.
It is 6:17, taking a turn now to a Storm Team 6 alert day. A frigid start here across central Indiana. And Todd, what do people need to know this morning?
You know, this morning we set another record low temperature. It was the second day in a row. We got down to 9 degrees in Indianapolis earlier this morning. Other locations got even colder and still are currently colder than 9. But the temperatures actually come up a little bit here in Indianapolis due to the winds turning a little more southerly. The forecast high today is 32. That's 11 degrees warmer than we were yesterday. So we're making progress in the right direction, but we're still not anywhere obviously close to the average high of 54 that we should be seeing this time of year. So these temperatures are still very, very cold. There's no doubt about that, but they've bottomed out. What I mean by that is they've gotten to the lowest point they're going to get. They're going to continue to start to climb and have done so already. We went from 9 now up to 12 in Indianapolis. Crawfordsville's up from 5 to 7 degrees. Bloomington from 5 to 7. Still obviously bitter cold, but again, we're starting to see the change happen, and it's coming with a bit of a price. So the change is the winds are turning more southerly, but as the winds pick up, we'll be able to factor in more of a wind chill. So it feels like -2 in Bloomington right now. Feels like 0 currently in Indianapolis. And here is your wind forecast for the day today. So the arrow pointing straight up means the winds are from the south, but you notice as we work our way throughout much of the day how the winds start to become stronger across the area. So it does turn into a pretty breezy day for us, but it's those southerly winds also that return our temperatures back up into the 30s. So here's the hour-by-hour temperature breakdown for you. And you notice already by the noon hour, 26 degrees. That's warmer than we were at any point throughout the day yesterday. And then your high temperature by 4 or 5 o'clock should be getting up to right around 32 degrees. So there's a little more in the way of cloud cover this morning. North of Indianapolis, mainly clear to the south. And one trend you will notice throughout the day today is we'll go from mostly sunny this morning to partly cloudy later on this afternoon. As far as that snow goes, you don't have to worry about that here in central Indiana. I'll just point out late tonight, if you drive into northwest Indiana up I-65, you may run into some of that snow shower activity that'll move across the northern portion of the state. But again, central Indiana, we are just fine throughout the day today from any precipitation. This evening, partly sunny skies, or partly cloudy skies, I should say, as the sun sets at 5:31. And temperatures will hold pretty steady with the cloud cover that'll be in place right around 29 degrees. And then colder temperatures for tomorrow still, but a little bit better than yesterday. 38 degrees will be your high temperature as we get into the day tomorrow. And then as we work our way throughout the remainder of the week, we're back into the 40s by the weekend, and then eventually up to about 50 degrees, Raphael, as we get into Tuesday.
It is a cold day, Todd. A good day to be inside a nice warm room or a nice warm bus. Whether you're waiting this morning at the school bus stop, waiting for that yellow bus or for an Indigo bus, it is simply cold based on that forecast. And you know, IPS and Indigo are now in the middle of an initial pilot program that would allow all 5,000 students to ride an Indigo bus, whether the red line or the original lines, to their high school. It is not clear how many students are using the service for now because, as you know, Indigo has not been charging on the red line service, so we don't have the exact number of the 5,000, how many of the 5,000 are actually using the Indigo system. We should know that shortly once Indigo begins charging people, specifically on the red line, as you know, which has been free since September the 1st. They'll begin charging on Sunday, December the 1st, for the first time. IPS says that riding Indigo to school is optional. They're still providing the traditional yellow bus service for those students who use it. This new system could save IPS a whole lot of money if it works out. We'll have much more on what's happening with Indigo. We are on bus 1979. Last stop here in Greenwood. We hit the road again at 6:30 back towards Marion County. And we'll have much more on our ongoing investigation coming up at 6:30 right here on Good Morning Indiana. Lauren, now back to you.
And Raphael, thank you. I want to take you guys back out to the west side right now where we are monitoring a deadly crash. Getting more information on this, you're looking at the southbound lanes of I-465 at West Washington Street. Now, what happened here? Multiple vehicles involved in this crash, somewhere between the end of the Washington Street on-ramp and the I-465 main line. Now, one person we can tell you has died from their injuries. Traffic right now is being diverted into the far left lanes as those right lanes are blocked. This will impact drivers hopping on the interstate here on the west side and any drivers traveling southbound. So let's take a look at that area right now. Things have been getting a little busy here as you're traveling southbound near the Washington Street exit. Of course, this is a spot we will continue to monitor as we inch closer to the rush hour this morning, but use caution if you travel on the west side. I would give yourself an extra 5 to 10 minutes to get where you're going on time.
There's a celebration happening along the Ohio River this morning and trending at 626, the win that shocked college basketball and how it has Twitter still talking this morning. We'll be right back.
Those free windows really cost you.
It is time now for what is trending at 6. And Lauren, I don't know about you. We're in our late 20s, early 30s, and retirement some days, especially on this shift, seems like a great idea. Well, we're going to introduce you to one gal who doesn't plan on retiring anytime soon.
Look at her go.
Despite being 95, this is Martha Strickland, who is nicknamed Granny. She works in a school cafeteria near Atlanta. And every year, Granny hands out birthday cookies on her big day. This is Granny's second career. She worked as a data processor for 37 years. Strickland says she doesn't see herself ending her second career anytime soon. She's been approved for a long-term driver's license so she can continue driving until she's 102 years old.
Love that. Well, an ice cream cone thief at a Carolina Hurricanes game is an internet favorite. Take a look there. The thief makes his move when the man looks at his friend's phone, leaving that cone wide open. That's when a fellow fan swoops in, slips the cone out of its paper cup, and the ice cream crook tries to return the cone, but the victim turns around too quickly.
This was the scene just moments after the Evansville Purple Aces stunned the #1 team in the country. The Purple Aces pulling out a 67-64 win over the Kentucky Wildcats down in Lexington. Evansville win marks a homecoming for Coach Walter McCarty, who won a national championship with the Wildcats in 1996. Going into the game last night, the Wildcats were a 24.5-point favorite.
Well, the Purple Aces win even got the attention of Governor Eric Holcomb. Shortly after the score went final, Holcomb tweeted, quote, "A huge win for Evansville's men's basketball team, beating the #1 team in the country, Kentucky." Evansville is trending this morning on Twitter all across the country. Gotta love a good underdog story.
Man, you know, and it's not even close to March Madness, but that feels awfully March Madness-like. And sort of this weather we're experiencing. This feels like kind of like mid-February weather.
Yeah, hopefully by March Madness it's a little bit warmer.
Oh, I hope so.
Big Ten tournaments in town this year as well, but it is bitter cold this morning once again. You really need to bundle up. This is the last morning, though, of the single-digit temperatures. That is the good news. We're around 8 degrees at 8 a.m. on average. The temperature has come up a little bit already in some locations across the area. It should be around 24 degrees by the noon hour with mostly sunny skies, and then there'll be a little bit of the cloud cover building in as the day goes on. But temperatures today a lot warmer than they were for highs yesterday. 29 in Peru, 32 in Indy. Some locations to the south this afternoon could approach 40 degrees.
Todd, thank you. Many of us are making our Black Friday shopping plans now, and even if you don't want to shop Thanksgiving night, you may still plan to shop online.
So which stores are going to have the best deals for you? Working for you, John Matarese shows us which stores are the best for certain deals so you don't waste your money.
The Black Friday ads are now leaking out, which means it's time to start preparing for shopping Thanksgiving night and the day after. You know, very few people enjoy battling crowds at 3 or 4 different stores. So if you have to choose one, which should it be? Scenes like this are enough to make you stay home Thanksgiving night. But if you know what you're looking for and skip the first hour, Black Friday still offers incredible savings. So with the help of Deal News and Wallet Hub, we found some of the best places to save the most. At Macy's, it's clothing. JCPenney, home goods. Kohl's, clothing, jewelry, and Kohl's cash back. Target, electronics, and toys. Walmart, off-brand TVs, gaming, and toys. And at Best Buy, name-brand TVs and laptops. But from the Doesn't That Stink file, assuming Amazon has the lowest Black Friday prices, Deal News says Amazon requires patience as you have to watch their lightning deals. Overpay and you'll say, doesn't that stink? The good news, you can set up Amazon price alerts at sites like Honey and Camel. Bottom line, pick the store that best meets your needs. If you're turned off by crowds, you can do almost all of it online, so you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thank you. For more tips and ideas that help you save cash, visit the money section of our website, theindychannel.com.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. A canine police officer is dead and 2 people are in custody after they led police on a chase in Fishers. It started on I-69 and ended in the Saxony neighborhood. Our Kelsey Anderson has been following this breaking story all morning long. More from her in a live report coming up.
The Northwest Hendricks School Board got an earful last night. The district has faced criticism in recent months for how it handled sexual misconduct allegations involving teacher and coach Tyler Bruce. Bruce is still under investigation, but the board voted to keep him on staff. Call 6 Investigates revealed that one board member voted on the matter, even though he is related to Bruce.
A judge says the driver accused of causing a crash that killed 3 people is mentally competent to stand trial. Bruce Pollard is accused of causing a chain reaction crash on I-465 in July that killed a woman and her 18-month-old twins. He's facing several charges, including 3 counts of reckless homicide.
Wheeler Mission is breaking ground today on a $13 million project. It's an expansion of the Center for Women and Children on East Michigan Street. Leaders say the renovation will help address a desperate need for more space and resources to help the growing number of homeless women and kids in our community. It is 6:30 here on your Wednesday morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
We do want to get to our weather right now. It is a busy morning here across central Indiana for a lot of reasons, but the main thing people need to know as they're waking up, Todd, is they're going to want to bundle up.
Yeah, you know, it's another bitter cold morning. The last morning, though, we have to deal with these single-digit temperatures. That is the good news going forward. That obviously, though, doesn't help you here this morning. So here's what you need to know as you get going and you start off your day. We set the record low earlier this morning. Once again, we got down to 9 degrees. Skies are mainly clear. And just be aware of some lingering slick spots out there. Yesterday, even though the temperatures didn't get above freezing, the sun helped to melt a little bit of snow. I know my sidewalk, as I walked out the door this morning, was a little slick with refreezing. As soon as that sun went down yesterday, everything refroze out there. So there could be an isolated slick spot. Shouldn't be a huge problem, though, for you. Temperatures anywhere you go in the teens and single digits across the area. 9 right now in Greenfield, 7 in Bloomington and Crawfordsville, 12's the current temperature in Indianapolis, 5 in Columbus. Believe it or not, these temperatures have actually come up a couple degrees over the last 2 hours. It was colder a little bit earlier, and that's due to 1, a little bit of cloud cover working in, and 2, a southerly wind that is kicking in here throughout the course of the day today. So yesterday was completely sunny, a little more in the way of cloud cover here throughout the day today. But this morning, give yourself some extra time. Bundle up as you walk out the door. Should be up to 26 degrees by the noon hour. More on the rest of the day coming up in just a little bit.
Todd, thank you. Want to get some breaking news we're following on the west side right now. You can see here our camera is frozen, but this is where we're monitoring a deadly crash this morning on the southbound lanes of I-465 at the Washington Street exit. This is happening near the on-ramp in that area on the west side. Right now, we can tell you that multiple vehicles were involved. 1 person is dead, and police have 3 right lanes blocked off. Traffic there having to squish over into the left lanes, and that is causing delays for southbound drivers this morning. We'll continue to keep our eyes on this and keep you updated. But we are following more breaking news this morning. This is out of Martinsville. Right now, Martinsville Fire Department is investigating a mobile home fire that has left 3 people dead. Those flames broke out at 1:30 this morning on South Outer Drive. We're working to learn more information on this case, and we're going to bring you it as soon as we get it. We do want to get to more breaking news we are following this morning, this time up in Fishers. That's where a manhunt has ended, but police are still trying to piece together what all happened.
We can tell you a canine officer was shot and killed during that hunt that ended with 2 people in custody. Our Kelsey Anderson has been live in Fishers all morning long. Kelsey, we just learned more about this canine that was killed.
Yeah, that's right. We did just learn more about this canine right here. If you can zoom in on this, this is Harley. He is a 5-year-old. He's been with the department since 2015, and the Fishers police chief says that he is certain that Harley saved the lives of officers tonight, overnight, excuse me. He said that one of the suspects was treated for a dog bite and has since been released from the hospital. Now, we've also learned this morning, earlier we were saying it was 2 male suspects. We've just learned that it was 1 male and 1 female suspect. That male suspect was the one who was treated for dog bites. Now, we also know that when they were doing the search, once they were fled on foot, the female in this investigation was caught first, and then it took the male. It took them a little while longer, excuse me, to get the male into custody. Now we do know, and then we're told you this early this morning that the police officer said that they heard gunshots, and now we know that that gunshot was towards Harley. Again, there's still a lot of questions in this case, and a lot of agencies are still investigating. So we will continue to update you on this story throughout the day, both on air and online. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Kelsey, thank you very much, and our condolences go out to the Fishers Police Department this morning. Indianapolis is home to the nation's first electric rapid transit system, but the cold weather is impacting the battery power of the buses on the Red Line.
And that battery power is something that Call 6 Investigates was first telling you about long before the Red Line even began running, and it's a problem that the city is still trying to solve. So our Rafael Sanchez is joining us live on board an Indigo bus with a story you'll only see here on RTV6. Rafael.
Lauren and Meredith, good morning. We're on Indigo bus on the Red Line 1979. Just left Greenwood in Johnson County, back heading northbound, back into Indianapolis. As you mentioned, the cold weather is like a punch in the guts of these buses. It's impacting the battery charge. But Indigo tells me that they have enough buses, electric buses, to keep the schedule on time. For example, they have 29 buses overall, 18 serve the Red Line. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. 18 buses serve the Red Line. 11 are on standby to fill in when necessary. Call 6 Investigates has learned that once the temperatures hit below 50 degrees, the battery charges on the buses really took a toll on the buses. Many of the buses had to be pulled out of service because of the temperatures on the buses. Now, Indigo says it is working with its manufacturer, BYD, to install 2 major electric charging areas on the ends of the routes to improve the service and to keep these buses fully charged. I had a chance to speak with the president of Indigo and the chair of the board about this in this one-on-one exclusive interview.
The electric buses, there's still some challenges with them as the weather has dropped. Will you hold BYD accountable for these buses?
Absolutely. One of our strict commitments is to be able to hold BYD accountable.
They're paying for it. Taxpayers are not paying for it. So we want to make sure taxpayers know that we're being committed to our promise. This is not costing us any more than what we came out to the voting poll a few years ago. So we're committed to make this work, and it's going to work.
My exclusive one-on-one interview with the head of Indigo, Inez Evans, and the board chair, Juan Gonzalez, tomorrow. That conversation will continue. Specifically, what lessons have been learned from the Red Line and what are the priorities heading into the new year? That discussion tomorrow, all new and only on RTV6.
So, Rafael, we've got to ask, what is the timeline on these charging systems and the cost?
So the timeline to install those charging systems, Meredith, is February. It will cost $4 million to put that system in place and to keep these buses really running beyond the normal charge that they can keep, really keeping them on the road much longer. The company tells me, as you just heard from Chairman Juan Gonzalez, this $4 million will come at no cost to the taxpayers. This will all be on BYD. Now back to you.
Now, we do want to get to breaking news. We're following out of Fishers. An overnight manhunt ends with a canine officer shot and killed. 2 suspects are in custody. Up next, we'll have another live report with Kelsey Anderson with more on this tragic story.
And teachers are demonstrating for higher pay next week, but some teachers got a big raise last night. We'll show you who will soon have a bigger paycheck and just how much they're getting. It's 6:38. We'll be right back.
We are professional grade. GMC.
It is 6:40 on your Wednesday morning, and we want to get back to that breaking news we've been following out of Fishers. It's a tough morning to report on this. An overnight manhunt ends with 2 people in custody and unfortunately a canine officer dead.
Our Kelsey Anderson has been following this story for the past few hours, and we have just learned that canine did pass away after being shot. Kelsey, you are there at the department. What is the mood like there right now?
The mood right now is very somber, as you can expect, because Harley has been with the department since 2015. He's a 5-year-old dog. He's been here, like I said, since 2015. And take a look at this video. This video was posted by Officer Koopman. He is the handler for Harley. It's for Working Dog Wednesday, just him and his partner riding around in the car. And the Fishers police chief says that he is certain that tonight, overnight, Harley saved the life of Koopman and other officers that were there on the scene during this police chase. Now, we're still working to find, did Harley have a police bulletproof vest on? Do they have those here at the Fishers Police Department? And just to recap you on what happened, we do know that a male and female suspect were taken into custody, both of them between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m. this morning. The male suspect was treated for a canine bite at the hospital, but he has since been released. Now, this investigation is still ongoing. It's still active, so there's still a lot of questions to be answered, but we'll work to get those answers for you throughout the day and bring them to you both online and on air. Reporting live in Fishers, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you, and our condolences do out to the Fishers Police Department this morning. More money will soon be in the paychecks of Indianapolis teachers. The IPS board has approved what they say is the largest raise ever given by the school district.
And that vote happened just 1 week before what's expected to be that huge rally at the State House for education funding. IPS is spending about $31 million on those pay raises. The money to do this comes from additional tax dollars approved by voters in last year's referendum. The board there also approved a 2-year contract with the union that represents IPS teachers.
And here's a breakdown of the raise. The lowest amount teachers can make in the first year is $45,200. That is up from the current $42,500. The maximum first-year salary is $82,800. In the second year, the minimum pay is just under $48,000, and the maximum is $90,000. Now, despite this raise, a longtime teacher highlights her salary as proof, saying the state legislature needs to boost funding for every public school.
I'm a 15-year teacher. 15 years ago, the same teacher made the equivalent of $20,000 more than I do right now.
The raise takes effect by the end of the year. Service workers such as custodians, food service, and transportation employees, they will also get a raise. And as kids are heading out to the bus stop all across central Indiana, people are getting in their cars, Todd. They need to bundle up today.
Yeah, bundle up, and you'll be cranking the heat in your cars once again this morning as temperatures have dipped down into the single digits in many locations. We set the record low earlier this morning, got down to 9 degrees. We're now up into the 11, 12 degree range this morning. And temperatures will kind of stay right where they are, may fluctuate up or down a degree or two until the sun comes up, and then the temperatures will really start to moderate up to 15 degrees by 9 a.m. So obviously it's still very, very cold. We're just kind of turning the page here a little bit from the bitter, bitter cold air we've been dealing with to unseasonably cold air as we get into the afternoon hours. So high thin clouds will continue to make their way in throughout the day today. So we'll go from mostly sunny this morning to partly cloudy this afternoon, and here's where your high temperatures get to. Yesterday, we only got up to 21 degrees, 29 today in Kokomo, 31 in Noblesville. Further south you go, it's a little bit warmer. High temperatures in Bloomington, Columbus, Seymour, Bedford. You should see highs right around 40 degrees.
Todd, thank you. They were going to kick people out, but now they've made a deal with the Attorney General. What the future holds for people who live in this mobile home park who reached out to RTV6 for help.
And our Call 6 investigation into the Red Line continues. Coming up, a live report on how a key component of the rapid transit line is gonna have to be replaced. That's just months after it was first installed. Stick around at 6:45 on your Wednesday. We'll be right back. More problems for West Side drivers at this hour. Take a look here at our camera at I-465 and Rockville Road. Traffic has been stop and go on the west side and the southbound lanes for a while now due to a deadly crash involving multiple vehicles near the Washington Street on-ramp. But here you can see we have a secondary crash in the left lane. So people are getting out of the left lanes here at Rockville Road. Then they're traveling just a little bit south of there and they're having to shift over into the right lanes to avoid the deadly crash cleanup investigation. This is backing up traffic here for a few miles. Avoid this spot if you can for your morning commute, or give yourself an extra 10 to 15 minutes. Well, nearly 3 months ago, people living at the I-70 mobile home park were told that they'd have to give up the homes that they own, so they reached out to us for help. Since our reporting, lawmakers, even the Attorney General, have stepped up to help these folks you see here on your screen. Yesterday, the owners of the land, Blue Lakes Incorporated, and the Attorney General's office came to an agreement on the future of the I-70 mobile home park. You'll remember RTV6 was the first to shine the light on this issue after residents told us that they were being forced to leave their mobile homes that they owned, but they were not being given their titles or any compensation for homes that could not be moved. This agreement requires every resident be given either a title or their money back for homes that they paid for.
Sounds good to me. I mean, if I'm given some cash, I mean, at least compensated for what I've got and, you know, and some of what I've put in. I'm happy with that. I'll leave. I'll be happy with that.
Once residents receive either the money or the title for their mobile homes, they will have 21 days to leave. You can find all of our stories about this situation at the I-70 mobile home park right now on our website, theindychannel.com.
Time now is 6:49, and another morning where we have broken a record. It's not a good record. Todd, is there any relief in sight for us?
There is relief in sight. I'm not saying that we're getting above normal and it's going to be warm again here anytime soon. It's just going to be a slow process towards more moderate temperatures as we get into the weekend. But we are done with these single-digit readings here once we get past this morning. That's the good news. 9 degrees, new record low for Indianapolis. Broke the record of 10 that was set back in 1986. As far as where we stand right now, a beautiful sunrise taking place. A little bit in the way of cloud cover. That's one change that's going to help us out. The other change is kind of a trade-off. So the winds are out of the south-southeast at 8 miles per hour. That's change in wind direction is going to bring the warmer temperatures in. However, the wind speed is going to pick up. So while our actual temperatures get a little bit warmer this afternoon, winds will be an issue, creating lower wind chill values than what we saw yesterday. So we're at 5 right now in Greencastle, 9 in Martinsville and Greenfield. 6 is the current temperature over in Richmond. As you walk out the door this morning, think of your pets, right? Bundle them up, make sure they are in good shape as well, and take a look at our featured dog of the day here. Mac in better days when there are just leaves on the ground and not snow on the ground, but he looks like he's excited to go for his walk this morning. Of course, you can send your pictures to my Facebook page, Todd Clausen, RTV6. We'll give you the caution yellow pause here with the real cold temperatures this morning. Then we'll give you the green pause as we get into the afternoon. 32 degrees with increasing clouds. So we do get back to freezing for our high temperature later on today. So the clouds are streaming in already, and these will be some high thin clouds at first, and then we may go overcast for a little while later on this afternoon, especially in northern locations, but we remain dry throughout the day today. There's just a small little chance of some snow this evening in far northern portions of Indiana. So unless you're traveling north of a line, say from Lafayette to Peru, you should be just fine here today as far as any precipitation goes. This evening, partly cloudy skies with the southerly winds and more in the way of clouds. Temperatures hold pretty steady right around 29 degrees. And as we look ahead, tomorrow we're up to 36 degrees with partly sunny skies. Friday, 38 degrees as we continue our warming trend with mostly sunny skies. And then by the time we get to Saturday, 40 degrees with a mixture of sun and clouds. And then beyond Saturday, temperatures are going to climb up to near 50 degrees as we get towards Monday and Tuesday, and that finally puts us a little bit closer to normal. But earlier, Raphael was telling you about the issues on the red line with the batteries holding charge in this cold weather, Raphael. Well, we're also looking at some other issues that the red line is facing.
Hey, Todd, good morning. As you know, Indigo telling me now, of course, that they have a handle on that battery charge issue. A $4 million solution is on the way. Battery in power stations will be installed on ends of the routes in February. But the other issue that is now popping up, I noticed this during the Monumental Marathon along College Avenue, the medians, those medians that are meant to keep us, the drivers, in our appropriate lanes along the red line, they're having some difficulties staying on the road. Indigo now confirming that the medians along College will all have to be removed and replaced. They're calling this an installation job issue that's been happening since for a couple of weeks now, and as segments become damaged, they are being removed. The company is working, that is Indigo, is working with a contractor on a replacement plan. The cost of that plan, the cost of replacement is still not known. Also adding difficulty to this issue is that drivers continue to cross those medians, adding more problems to the medians along the road. So we'll have to see what the cost of that plan will be. Cost of investigation will continue to ask those questions. We are live on the red line on bus 1979 heading northbound. Now to Lauren, who has breaking news from the city's west side.
That's right, Raphael, and this is a look at one issue you're going to run into over on the west side. I-465 southbound here at Rockville Road, crash blocking the left lanes. And then as you travel south here, just about a block away, you're going to have to get out of the right lanes, get over into the left lanes because we have a deadly crash in the right lane. So be prepared for 2 quick traffic shifts and slow traffic. We'll continue to monitor this and keep you updated on the other side of the break. Stick around.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
The first public impeachment hearings begin just hours from now. The House Intelligence Committee will hear from the first key witness who says President Trump tried to extort leaders in Ukraine to investigate his political rivals. We will have live coverage of that impeachment hearing starting at 10 o'clock this morning right here on RTV6. Todd, another morning of awfully cold temps.
Yeah, bundle up. Temperatures in the single digits still in many locations here this morning. We will moderate the temperatures fairly quick, though, here throughout the morning hours. That's the difference from yesterday. 26 by the noon hour, 32, which obviously is well below the normal high of 54 degrees, but it's better than 21 that we saw yesterday. Skies become partly cloudy. The warming trend will continue. This is the last morning of the single digits. Tomorrow, 22 to start your day, 40s by the weekend, 50s potentially by next week.
Todd, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us. It has been a busy morning. We're going to be back right here in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with more on that breaking news, weather, and traffic updates.
We hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday.